services are both Caldwell and Alexander. With me is Patty Burke. Patty is a victim advocate that serves here in Alexander County office. And I'll tell you, and I'll try not to cry, I do that a lot. It is a calling to be able to work with people in the fashion that Patty and I do. And every day that we go to work, we look for an opportunity to help people. Very often, your neighbors and my neighbors, unbeknownst to you, are coming in and asking for help in a situation in their lives that you may not know anything about. And that happens every day, again, in both Caldwell and Alexander County. I would tell you as neighbors, what makes me feel good is to walk in this building tonight and feel very much a part of Alexander County. Don't anybody raise your hand. I'm from Bethlehem, so I'm down that way, but I'm still a member of Alexander County. And what I love about this community is exactly what I see here. We wrap our arms around those in our community that have experienced tragedy. And Patty and I were talking with Darlene earlier, and this was the message that she said. She said, if I could say anything, what I want is to see the violence, the useless violence that we perpetrate against one another to end. And we agree. Do we not agree? It's absolutely without purpose and without sense, and that is what we all want. So every day we go to work, that is, we hope to work ourselves out of a job. It's just, I know that on this earth, it's not going to happen. So every day that we go to work, Patty goes in and someone says, I need help, I don't know what to do, then we figure God's put us there for a reason, and we try to be obedient and listen and do the very best that we can. The part I want to share with you as well, we do not have a shelter here in Alexander County anymore. We don't have a building in Alexander County anymore. But our shelter for Alexander is sitting in Caldwell County, and it serves us both. You know the way things happen, the way they should happen? At the point in time that the program here lost its funding, we were building a bigger shelter in Caldwell County. And as it should be, at the time that it was needed here, we had made the shelter go from 21 beds to 40 beds, and we were able to help more people. Funny how things happen that way, isn't it? When the need was there, God saw the need long before we did. We thought we were just building a big building. And as it happened, both counties needed to have the common shelter. So I would tell you, as neighbors, as we watch and we listen and we have heart for one another, if you know or suspect that a friend or family member or coworker, or if I may, a church member, because we do work a lot in the faith community as well, is experiencing a problem. God, how many of you have seen those commercials with the big teal-colored zero that say no more? How many of you have seen that? Yes, ma'am. During the NFL games, no more. And we're doing it everywhere we can. No more. No more violence and no more silence. If you see it, call it. If you're a man next to a man and you know what your friend or coworker is doing to his wife or his girlfriend, be a man. Call it. Call it what it is and call it wrong. No more. And I think as a community, because I know this community, that we can make a difference. And that's my dream. That is my prayer every day, going to work, that one, and the prayer to be used. And so as we go about our daily work, and we see those who need help, who are in dangerous or abusive situations, or their children are exposed to it, then we have a responsibility. We have a responsibility. So, Patty, can I ask you to say something? Okay. Patty Burke.
Domestic violence is ugly. since November of 2012. I worked with the shelter home from 1999 until 2002 as court advocate. I saw a lot of ugly behavior then, and I've seen a lot of ugly behavior since, especially when I went back to work with the shelter home in Caldwell County in 2012, as I said. I work in the Alexander County office. And as Sharon said, domestic violence can happen to anybody. Sometimes you don't know who it is. You have no idea. But then there are the red flags, and you need to pay attention to those red flags. And if you see someone that is going through a difficult time, please, 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 talk to someone. We have an office here in Taylorsville. Please encourage those persons or that person to come and to get some help. We have the resources, although we don't have the Safe House in Alexander County anymore, but we are honored to have a Safe House in Lenore that we are affiliated with here in Alexander County. And again, I encourage those of you who may know someone that's going through a difficult time to encourage them to come and to talk to us at our office. It's right downtown. Domestic violence, again, can happen to anybody. And what we would like to see is an end to this. But people behave badly, and sometimes all we can do is the best we can.
Do you want to make a difference? Do any of you want to make a difference in somebody else's life? If we all have different passions that strike us at different points in our life, and the work in human services, one of the passions that hit us at the shelter home last December was the number of older women and men, disabled individuals, and then non or limited English speaking victims that we were working with. Half the people in our shelter from both Caldwell and Alexander fit in those three populations and were very difficult to work with and to serve. We reached out to the community looking for resources, and somebody told me there weren't a lot of resources in Alexander County, and I argue that. Because the greatest resources we have in Alexander County are the people. And so we went directly to individuals and people to get help and services for maybe placing, I'll give you a hypothetical, placing a 65-year-old lady who can't walk well. We needed to get her rehoused safely in a safe place that was close to grocery and so forth. And so we went directly to landlords, talking to them. And that wasn't a group with a big name. That was just one person that cared. So as we do things over here, we reach to this person that cares or that person that cares. So I would tell you, volunteering if not in our program, then in your church that works with victims groups, and I would encourage that. But we do have a volunteer program, and if you're interested in being a crisis call taker or working directly with clients, we do training for that. But if you want to get directly involved, if you're mad enough or passionate enough or just feel the wrong of how one person hurts another enough and you want to get involved, then contact Patty. Because the one thing about the shelter home, it's been around since 1978. I was a rookie cop in Lenore when they opened the doors over there. And so I know what that place is. I've worked with victims for nearly 40 years. And I will tell you, that program, when I'm long gone, it always has and it always will belong to the community because the community works within the program. It's not hired people that do the work, it's the community community. So I would simply tell you, for your opportunity to reach out and help other people, then get involved, if not in our group, then in the senior center or the Precious Christian Ministry, Feeding the Hungry. There are folks that are homeless right here in our community, so there's many opportunities to help our neighbors. So I would simply encourage that. And the last thing I would ask you to do, if I can get your attention for 1 second, the last thing I would ask you to do, please, is pray for those of us, those at the Department of Social Services, working in Child Protective Services, APS, and those of us at the shelter home that are working with victims every day, that you will pray for us. Please pray for us, because we're constantly in need of having our hearts and our eyes open, our judgment diminished, and just to be open to helping people in the best way that we can and in the way that it's intended that we do it. So please pray for us. That would be my request. Okay. Thank you.